Sweating like grease monkeys out here.
Just don't say goddamn it.
Get it ready, boys.
Hopefully,
every single time.
Hopefully,
it worked
after
every
that.
single. No, we definitely got that on audio. So we hear, okay, we're clicking it, standing by. I don't have a drop for this ready. And then you hear Lud say, "Just don't say GD." We have a big show today. Lots of stuff to cram in there. That's a great way to start. Here, Monday, DLS Stars. Let's go right now. This is the DLLS Stars podcast on Monday. It is November the 17th. Welcome to the podcast studio. I feel like we were never in here anymore, but we are today. And coming up, I think, next week, we actually have a game broadcast in here.
Oh.
I know. It must be a Mavs night doubleheader or something. Or Cowboys, who knows what.
Speaking of game broadcast, what is tomorrow?
Tomorrow is
the
Tuesday.
I know, but we have a game tomorrow.
Tomorrow night against the Islanders.
Is that a normal show?
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
I thought it was where we sit here all night long and talk.
No, that's
No.
the week after.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. That's what Luds calls the ride along. The rest of us call the watch along.
That's
Yep.
on the 25th versus
That's the
Oilers.
Edmonton Oilers game.
Okay.
We got some time on that. Craig Ludwig, Sam Nessler, Ryan Vodder's our producer. I'm Owen Newkirk. Thanks for joining us.
Hello.
Boy, do we have a lot for you today. Before we get into anything, quick reminder, our face-off collection is live. New Stars hockey shirts. They look great. Dallas hockey, I say Stars, it's DLLS Stars hockey shirts, not Dallas Stars, but obviously with Stars themes. Check those out today. Check out the other ones. Look at Luds and Sam wearing the captain shirt. And I kid you not, I'm not just making this up. I almost grabbed that shirt to wear today. Can you imagine
That would have been funny.
if we aren't just frozen on the screen, but if we actually had all three of us wearing the same captain visor shirt? Look at those two. Sam, you can't see. He's
short.
He's a little short, but I got the otter one. I kid you not, almost wore that. All three of us without talking.
He's
it would have
happy
been.
this time he didn't change.
Actually, I believe
I've never wore this before.
if I walked in with the captain and we all had it, you would have definitely changed.
I would have changed.
Yeah.
I
So
was thinking about changing the way it is.
even
We all look very similar.
speaking of changing, Ryan, do you have that screenshot I sent you this morning?
Uh-oh.
This is.
Did you have that? The one
It's
from the Spit and Chicklets podcast?
Oh, I don't. I can get it.
Okay. Let me know
Well,
when you have
How
that.
can you have that when it's not out yet?
Oh, it's out.
Oh, it is?
Oh yeah, it was out this morning. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know.
I watched about half of it, and then I stopped because I wanted to listen to the Hall of Fame speeches, which we're going to get to.
Oh, wait. It's not the end of it. Did you take the picture?
I haven't gotten to the end of it yet. Is there
Oh,
something?
okay.
Oh, I can't wait for that. All right, stay tuned. No, the news of the day. We'll get to the silly Lud stuff later. How about this? Banged up blue line. Thomas Harley is out week to week. That was literally going to be our lead today. Harley out week to week. How does this affect the Stars going forward? They've won 5 in a row. They have the second best record in the conference and in the entire NHL. Colorado keeps winning. They won again last night against the Islanders. Stars will play the Islanders tomorrow. But then we have Ilya Lyubushkin missing practice yesterday with Glenn Gulutzan. So Sunday practice before the Hall of Fame gala last night. Gulutzan said, we'll see if it's just maintenance or more than that, depending on how he's evaluated Sunday and into Monday. Today, Stars are off today. They don't have a practice, which is probably timed appropriately after the Hall of Fame festivities last night.
Have some fun.
Do you want to have Sunday off and then have to go to that and then have to practice the day after? Or do you want to have practice and then have the day off? I think that makes sense. So you have Nils Lundkvist, who's going to start skating soon, but he's on his own and he's not ready yet. Harley's now out week to week. And now you have Ilya Lyubushkin. That's 3 of your top 7 defensemen.
Mm-hmm.
The Stars, even if Lyubushkin was healthy, wouldn't have because Kyle Capobianco, easy for me to say.
Coco Cabana is really easy to say.
It does roll off the tongue, doesn't it? He was in the lineup for the game on Saturday night, and that's your 6. Now, Lyubushkin means they have 5 if he can't play tomorrow. The Stars' salary cap space was so limited, even with LTIR usage, that this morning I'm looking at it and say, okay, they only have about $800,000 in space. The only defenseman in Texas, in the Texas Stars, was Vladislav Kolyachonok, who makes the minimum. Even Trey Taylor, the one I think would be the first call-up, is, because of his entry-level contract, is higher. Well, then literally 10, 15 minutes before the start of our show, the Stars put Matt Duchene and Adam Erne on LTIR. Retroactively, Erne to a week ago, November 11th, and Duchene to his last game, which was the 18th of October. There's a lot of, Mark Janko and the Stars front office cap gymnastics working overtime right now. And there's one other element here, and I'm going to let these guys go on this. Stars captain Jamie Benn has to be activated from LTIR before he can make his season debut. The captain right here. And Glenn Gulutzan on Saturday before the Flyers game said Jamie was really close to playing. Luds, we talked about it pregame. You said he needs more conditioning. That's what Gulutzan said. We don't want him dipping his toes into the water. We want him to be able to go full bore and not worry about it. Well, even without the injury issues, they were going to have to make some sort of cap move to make space for Jamie to come off LTIR. Duchene and Erne going on there temporarily fixes all of those problems, Sam.
Yeah, so I was originally thinking, as Gulutzan said, Ben's getting closer. All signs point towards, if he doesn't return tomorrow, then he's on this trip somewhere. And then I started thinking the only reason maybe he doesn't return tomorrow or the next game is if they can't fit him because of everything that's going on. As soon as Lyubushkin started
Especially
going down,
needing a defenseman, right?
Yeah. They need a defenseman. They don't have the cap space. They also don't have an extra forward because of Erne. This helps. I hate to say that because it's not a good thing, but the positive spin on this is that Duchene had already taken up, the retroactive takes up 24 days, 10 games, so he is already, it doesn't put him any further behind the 8 ball.
Meaning he doesn't have to wait
He doesn't have to wait it out. So
if he's ready, he can be activated, except for, of course, salary cap problems.
Yes, so that would make it far.
Which means he's not playing tomorrow night.
He's not playing.
He's probably not playing tomorrow night. Yes.
And we still don't know anything. For all you asking, we know very little. He's skated a few times. He's had a tinted visor. He hasn't had a tinted visor. He hasn't skated. He's been back and forth.
The fact that he practiced with the team yesterday is a good sign.
Good sign. Yes, he's done it a couple times. He's been on the ice. He's with the team yesterday.
That's the first time in a while,
yes,
if at all, we've seen him with the team.
He had a weird one where he came back, he skated, then he played the game against
He missed
St. Louis
one game,
after
so
missing.
he got hurt, Luds, in the home opener against Minnesota. Didn't play Thursday night, the next game, but then he played in St. Louis that Saturday, which suggests he was not in concussion protocol, because if he had been, he wouldn't have been able to play. And then he hasn't played since that date. And it's been shrouded in mystery, hasn't it?
Well, I said it at the time. It surprised the hell out of me that he played that second game.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because, again, just watching the hit and getting how he left the ice and things like that, I thought, that's soon for that. But that's good news. Well, it turns out not such good news right now.
No.
And the whole back and forth, on and off, and practices, and as Sam said, the visors and things like that. I know they're not calling it. I don't know what they're calling it. Are they just saying
Nothing.
upper body?
Yeah.
I think
No
we know what
protocol.
part of the body it is.
It has to be,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Like we're trying to be you don't want to speculate on injuries, but
I
there's
wondered
nothing
and
else I can
everything
think
I
of.
wondered if there was something else
That has nothing to
But
do
what
with
are
the
the-
tinted
what about the
visor.
eyes?
Has nothing to do with it.
That's-
I'm telling
that's
you,
true.
our
That's the
guys
big
do
one.
the same thing. It's been done for years. Is the reason that they wear a tinted visor. I'm not going to say this 100%, but it's
Yeah.
because of the lights.
Yeah.
It's the lights in the building, and,
And
you get a headache from
You
it.
said going back and forth because you come out, maybe you try out. Hey, it's still
I
affecting
feel
me.
okay.
Let's
Yep,
go
you
back.
come out with a clear visor, and you
Rope
think
did
I'm
the
good
same
to
thing.
go.
Yeah.
And then you
Yep.
find out 12 hours, 6 hours later, you're getting that little headache or whatever it
It's
is.
sort of like a delayed
and then
reaction.
but you put the dark one on so you can skate. And you can skate, and then you don't have those symptoms, or at least as bad.
I remember when
So-
Stephen Johns was going through his massive ordeal, and he said even like a puck off the post, that ring
noise.
was so debilitating it caused him physical pain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So so this all started, guys, before these roster moves today. I was looking at the upcoming road trip. So I hadn't even seen that Lyubushkin hadn't practiced yesterday until it was a Sunday, blah, blah, blah. I was thinking about you're not going to go to 4 games, 3 in Western Canada and 1 in Seattle without a 7th defenseman, and you're going to want at least 13 healthy forwards.
Yep.
And so that's where it started to, okay, well, you don't have Harley for a bit. Yeah, look at the upcoming schedule. as you see, the Islanders, and then that first half of that road trip is Thursday, Saturday, Vancouver, and then Calgary. And then the following week, Luds, we have the ride along, aka the watch along, and that's a back-to-back Edmonton and at Seattle. But now I ask you this, and then we'll circle back to Harley. When the Stars get healthy, when they get Jamie Benn and Matt Duchene back, and maybe sooner than later, maybe the captain as early as tomorrow night, which would be wild, do you send Justin Ristkovian down to the AHL with the way he's playing? Or if you have to send a guy down. Now, again, for the meantime, Duchene on LTIR and Erne, they have some cap flexibility. But when Duchene's ready to go and they don't have that space, would you risk Adam Erne or Nathan Bastian on waivers?
Bastian has cleared waivers.
Both he or Erne would. Would you risk either one of those? Because
with Erne being injured?
But if he was healthy. Like, again, right now, Erne probably does. They saves that problem. But Ristkovian's been playing well for his role.
Asking me, and I don't send Ristkovian. No, if we're talking about those three,
yes,
I think I'm leaning.
And do you think they would clear?
I think at least Erne for sure.
You think so?
Yeah, I think Bastian may clear.
I think
also.
you would too. I think there's plenty of.
Now, are you going to flip a coin and see which one? Who do you want most here? If you,
I mean,
if you lose one
isn't that what Hockey Ops has to figure out?
I think you. I think you want Bastian here, and I like what Ernie's done.
Yeah,
but I think the reason he's here is because of what he can bring when there are certain opponents.
His physicality, right?
Yeah, and the question I have for you, Luds, is can you, because I think we talked about this in the press box a week or so ago, Ristkovian deserves to be here.
Mm-hmm.
He's played great.
Yep.
And he's been playing ahead of Bastian.
Right.
Yep.
However, do you look at it as, right now they're just treading water still. So like, let's say they start to get healthy and we have this problem where they have too many forwards or not enough cap space.
Can these guys come up and down? Like, can you send them down one day,
Ristkovian can go
back the next day? Can you flip-flop them, I guess is my question.
Ristkovian is waiver exempt, but there is a new rule in the AHL, NHL this year where if he gets set down, he has to play at least one game.
I guess the only reason I asked that question is because depending on the opponent, you may want Bastian here.
You could, if they clear, then you could start doing
every game, as far as I'm concerned.
Yes. Yeah. Now, the question I have is it going to hurt Ristkovian to go down? Not does he deserve to be here, but if you're looking at these guys and you're thinking that the easiest route here is to go send Justin Ristkovian down so he plays top line minutes for 5 games while we figure out what we have up here. That's the only way I can see it being the other way around.
I don't think it hurts him because he's a young player, and I think was he a kid that was coming in here expecting to make this lineup? No. Or was he going to be part of the mix?
He was on the bubble, but that's
why
everyone was battling for a call-up.
And basically, they will have the right conversation. Jim Nill and Gully or whoever it may be, or both, will have the right conversation. Listen, this is just a numbers thing, literally a dollar thing. You have done everything to earn your spot. We want you to go there, do your thing there, and you're the first one coming back. So I think
they don't want to risk losing their depth at all.
Yeah,
even though
that's the question.
I'm not saying that you can't replace a Bastian or an Erne with another player out there. But I think that they would want to try to not lose that depth, especially with how we've seen all the injuries so far.
Path of least resistance. That's why I asked.
So this leads me to the Harley thing, because that was originally going to be the main theme of this first segment until all this stuff changed. What's the effect of Thomas Harley being out week to week for this Dallas Stars roster?
Well, if Thomas was playing the way Thomas has played since he's got here, except for the start or a little bit in this year, I would say a ton. Because what Thomas does when he's healthy, and I don't know exactly when this injury was, and did it have anything to do with how his game has maybe fallen off a little bit?
It has to have been, right? He hasn't been himself.
But I just wonder, you don't see it in his skating. I don't think you see it in his shot, and he gets involved. So that's why I'm surprised of the injury. I don't even know what the injury is. I don't know if it's upper body, lower body, whatever.
Lower
body.
Now, last night, and I know there's got to be somebody here on this Twitter or this, what do we call this thing, this podcast, that's watching or listening to this thing
on YouTube right now.
YouTube.
Our supporters club members.
Okay. Thomas Harley was not at the event last night.
Okay.
He was not introduced. Adam Erne was there. Labushkin, I believe, was there. I believe. Because, again, I'm sitting in the back with Belfour and these guys. I'm not paying attention to everybody.
Well, and you had probably a happy hour beforehand, too. So.
Well, I was there quarter after 4.
What time did the event start?
7.
Oh, yeah.
So, But
we're lucky you remember
my point
anything.
is I was surprised. I guess I'm not surprised why Thomas wouldn't have been there when other injured guys are there. Matt Duchene, I don't believe, was there either. Okay. I don't believe Matt got introduced last night. So my thing is if do they not want to see him if it's lower body coming out? Adam Erne was wearing a brace on outside his pants, so you know what that is.
Yep.
Did they not want Thomas to know, or could it be an upper body? And I'm wondering. I'm just completely guessing here. Was Matt Duchene not there because we talked about the visor and the lights and the noise and all that other kind of stuff? Could that be why he wasn't there? No idea. Don't even know if it's related. So when it comes to Thomas, yes, it's a big miss.
And it's
Thomas.
a concert at the end of that too. And if you're
you
dealing,
can leave anytime you want,
right? But I'm just saying, like, if he was dealing with light stimulation, again, we're not speculating, just talking about it in general terms. I'm sure a loud concert is probably not the place for that.
Yeah,
but every one of them players left before the
didn't
concert
stick around.
even started.
Okay.
Yeah, they do that every year. They get there. I mean, it's their off day. Even Gully talked about it. It's their off day, and well, not really an off day. I think they actually skate.
They practice so they could have today off.
yeah. So they would prefer not to be at those things. And Joe Nieuwendyk, as a matter of fact, addressed that at the end. And he did it. It was great the way he did it. We know, been in these things before. You're coming to listen to a couple old guys, all that kind of stuff. It was
great.
So it was good.
And
so,
he made a great line to Lanny McDonald talking about he looked old as dirt.
Yeah.
Jamie looks a lot younger than that. And it made me think, Lanny McDonald, when we were growing up, was like Wilford Brimley, right? Yeah. Because you think in Cocoon, he's some 90-year-old and he was like 45 or 50 or something like that. So
you don't have to remind me. We lost a cup to him in Calgary. We lost it to Calgary in Montreal. Though let's get it straight.
I heard something about that.
We beat you guys in '86. It was in Calgary. Then we lost in Montreal. And Lanny's the one that scored the big goal.
Iconic.
Anyway, and knew he found a way to rub that in last night too.
All right, up next, we will talk. We are going to do the Hall of Fame ceremony. We'll do that in segment 3. But up next, we have to talk about this past week and particularly what Jason Robertson has done here on the DLS Stars podcast.
This episode is brought to you by Prize Picks. You and I make decisions every day, but on Prize Picks, being right can get you paid. That's nice because I'm not right often, but if you are right, you might as well get paid for it. Prize Picks makes this super simple.
I'm not laughing, I promise, but I am.
Makes things super simple. It's simple to play. You pick more or less on at least 2 player stats. If you get your picks right, you could cash in. Get in on the action of football in more than 40 plus states, including California, Georgia, and Texas. It's the only app that offers stacks, meaning you can pick the same player 3 times. If you want to pick more on Josh Allen's pass yards, rush yards, and touchdown, you can pick all 3 in the same lineup only on Prize Picks. It's the best way to win cash this football season. Which players are going off? Which ones are overhyped? That's for you to decide. Join millions of users and sign up for America's #1 fantasy sports app. Download the Prize Picks app today and use code DLS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code DLS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, it's good to be right.
All right, let's talk about Shady Rays. Like, you've heard me say this before, but I'm going to repeat it. You know that moment, the one where you realize that you just left your sunglasses in a gas station for maybe on the back of the toilet seat and they fell in the tank and you are thoroughly disgusted and germophobic and you can't sanitize enough. Or maybe you stepped on them by accident and they were in your pocket when you tried to tie your shoes and you felt something crack. Well, Shady Rays is so game-changing because these are sunglasses made for real life. Seriously good-looking, polarized, durable, not stupidly expensive. And here's the wild part. If you lose or break them, even on day 1, Shady Rays will send you a brand new pair. No guilt trip, just replacements. So now I can actually wear my sunglasses. You can too, without fear, on hikes, concerts, at the Hall of Fame gala or gala, depending on your caramel. Shady Rays is the eyewear that has your back. We've teamed up with Shady Rays to bring you an exclusive offer. Head to shadyrays.com. Use the code DLLS35 for 35% off polarized sunglasses. Try for yourself. The shades rated 5 stars by over 300,000 people.
So I made a mistake with that read about a month ago, right? And so he still keeps rubbing it in every single time. Not stupidly expensive.
See this picture right here?
Yeah.
That's taken today. Jamie Benn, Matt Duchene on the ice in Frisco with a couple of Lone Star Brahmas. So
I'm curious.
It's team day off, but these guys are skating. What do you think that means about Jamie Benn's status for tomorrow? I mean, it sure seems like things are building up.
You think that's a hard skate? Is that what you're implying?
No, I'm just saying there's a picture and they're out there. That's good. It's better to have seen them doing it than not, especially for Duchene. But it feels, I know this isn't what the segment's going to be. It feels like Jamie Benn is going to play tomorrow night.
I agree.
What Gully said on Saturday, watching him get closer and closer, the fact that he went on the last road trip and flew, Luds, you know how dangerous. I mean, they've talked about it. The whole Eric Lindros story of he could have died if he had gotten on that plane with a collapsed lung. The fact that he was healthy enough to go through air travel and the pressure and everything, it's trending up. So a quick question, then we'll get to our stars of the week. What does Jamie Benn do to this lineup coming back, whether it's tomorrow or after that?
Oh, I think when Chubbs is in the locker room, that's where it starts. You know, he'll be getting dressed and everybody's going to see him, obviously, and they know he's going to be back when he's back. That does that right off the bat, just having him sitting in that same room, getting ready to go to war with them. I think it's going to be interesting to see how he plays in his first 5 minutes of the game. You know, is he going to come out and be the physical guy that we know? Does he tiptoe into it, which I highly doubt.
It's not his way.
Nope. And that's why when he comes back, if it's tomorrow's game or the next game, whenever that may be, he's coming back because he's ready to. Why are we? I'm trying to keep a straight face when I'm saying it. You guys keep giggling.
That's because every time Sam moves, his chair goes a little bit lower. It just keeps falling down.
It's not like you can get any shorter.
All right. No, but you're right. It's a
when
huge
Jamie
deal.
Comes back, the interesting part is who's going to play where. That's where it is for me.
I totally
don't know
agree.
if you throw him, like I said, not into the deep end of the pool, and we're talking about, geez, who's going to play up there? Is it going to be Sam Steele? I don't think you put Jamie Benn up on the top line with whoever in Rannon is.
But hopefully not in game one.
No,
right?
That's what I mean. He could maybe work his way up there, but I think all of that aside, it's going to be the rest of the team. It's going to be giving that team, and right now, should he come back with a couple injuries, I mean, that might be a little bit of a boost what you need with some, bodies that may be out.
I'd put him on the fourth line.
Yeah, I wouldn't doubt that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
just ease him in.
Just ease him in. And by the second period, he may have already moved up a line.
Probably.
And because I think what you want, and again, if I'm Gully or one of the coaches, whether it's at the end of the first or halfway through the game, you're gonna generally I would wait till the end of the first and say, how you doing? And he'll tell you. Yeah, I'm 80%. I'm 90%. Knowing Jamie, he's gonna say, I'm good to go. Let's go.
Yeah.
If you want me to move up, let's go. But I'm willing to go where you want me to go.
I would think it would be Ben, just but guess. I would think because they've loved the three lines.
Yeah,
it's not just that they've loved the top line and they don't want to mess. Like they've really loved that Beck, Ritzkovian, Bork line. So I think Ben would go in on the left, Blackwell would move back to the right, Fox in the middle, and Bastian would be your scratch. That would be the simplest. They've approached that this way this season, right? When they can simplify our replacements, don't.
Yeah, I still think there's another list of forwards when everybody's healthy, which who knows when that will be. But that Gully has an idea of how he wants to play, and it may be a little different, but maybe not. The fact that you have Hintz and Robertson playing together, the fact that you have Johnston and Rantanen playing together, they like those pairs. But we'll see. Look, we have a lot to get to, so we can't go itemized through last week's games. Obviously, the rally from 2 goals down to beat Ottawa in overtime, the huge thumping in Montreal 7-0, and then 5-1 win over Philadelphia. They actually had 2 games that weren't really in doubt in the third period, which is new for them this year, but really nice. But let's do our 3 Dallas Stars of the week. So we start with our usual bit, which is, can we guess what Luds is thinking, which is not an easy task.
Oh, no.
So we have, it looks like the rock band Styx, the Brick Wall, and the Joker. Sam, do you have a guess of any of those? That's, by the way, that's somebody looking like Heath Ledger. I don't think that is Heath
no, it's
Ledger.
not. Would
2
be a
don't give it away.
So
hold on. Remember, take your guesses and let us know in the chat. We can try to figure it out now, but then we'll go back to it and give you Luds. We'll save your answers for the end. You were about to give it away.
No, I wasn't. I wouldn't be giving it away, but I was going to say who I thought it looked like when you guys mentioned the Joker.
Oh, just the picture.
Just a picture.
Who does it look like?
I don't want to say it.
He's going to give it away now. So, okay, we'll come back to that. Sam, your 3 stars of the week.
Yes. I remember him this time.
Do you?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I'm going to say Jason Robertson might be first.
Yeah,
it makes sense since he was first in the entire NHL. It's good to see because that night when was it Montreal, Ottawa, that he finally got that
was
goal.
His first one was Ottawa.
It felt we could feel the weight off the shoulders of Jason Robertson when he scored that, and just like he has in the past, when he does get off, he's not as inconsistent up and down, right? Like kind of like Rope Hintz. He's more of when he gets on a streak, he stays on it for a very long time, and so look out for. I'm assuming just more of this from Jason Robertson. Rope Hintz, I wanted to give a shout out. I'm going to write about him this week too, but I want to give him a shout out because he he has filled in so well coming back from the injury. And I didn't see that necessarily happening just because maybe starting slow, maybe not having his full legs or whatever it might have been. And because he has that kind of up and down, he's been as consistent as I've seen. He's not scoring 20 goals like crazy, but he's consistently playing well. He's playing well on his own end. He's winning faceoffs. He's got 1 or 2 assists every game, and he's got building that chemistry back with his old buddy. I just think that is
and
huge
then your
for this
third star,
team.
Alexander. I'll come back to Rope because I have some thoughts on that. And then Petro,
I had to give it to him. Gets his first goal in a million days.
7 years.
Had I think he ended up with 3 points last week, maybe
2
2
points.
2
Goal
points.
and assist. Yep.
Playing well,
One
and
of the games wasn't he a +5?
yeah, and he was +5 against Montreal.
Yeah.
He's all the
He was +5 for the week
kind of
because of that
aside,
game.
right?
That means he was even the other 2 games.
He's brought a lot of the same stuff, and I just thought he deserved a shout out. So 3rd star.
So here are mine, because originally when I submitted them, again, we don't talk to each other on purpose. I had the exact same picks that Sam had.
I heard.
And so
That was my honorable mention.
Ryan called me and said, hey, do you want to keep them as the same? And I said, you know what? For the sake of entertainment value, I'll use one of my honorable mentions. I had 2. I had Mikko Rantanen. He had a goal and 4 assists, 5 points, tied for the second on the team in the week, scored that huge breakaway goal against Ottawa. Mikko Rantanen could be in the 3 stars every single week. I was going to pick Petro for the fact that he got that huge goal. And, I mean, when you're +5 as the 3rd pairing, that's great stuff. But I went with Foxa as my 3rd star because he had a 3-assist game against Montreal, which is not his game, but that's huge. He had you ready for this? He was part of a perfect penalty kill week. They went 6 for 6, which this unit has not been good to start the year as far as keeping power play goals off the board. So to me, Foxa really good there. Hence, Sam, you mentioned his overtime goal against Ottawa was huge because it kept them going after, Miro had 2 blocked by Shane Pinto and then Robo had 1 blocked, and they easily could have won it. And he also assisted all 3 of Robertson's natural hat-trick goals. And I will also say that, Ryan, if you have the NHL graphic, Jason Robertson is the no-brainer number 1 because he was the number 1 star of the week in the entire NHL. Yeah, nobody had more goals and nobody had more points than Robo last week. He's been on fire ever since that Ottawa game, and he just has ridden it. And between the power play and now having one of their big weapons going, it just adds another layer that's so much harder for teams to deal with. So good on those guys. Here's Sean's 3 villains of the week, and then we'll finish with Luddy's. So he had the ghost of Yuri Hudler because the Stars finally got their first win in Ottawa since Yuri scored an own goal on an empty net during a delayed Stars power play. That was a miserable game. He tried to do a drop pass and put it into his own net. Then the Colorado Avalanche is the second villain because they're the only team in the NHL with a better record than the Stars, and they just keep thumping teams. Even last night, they had their hands full with the Islanders, but they got an empty net goal and then another one in the final minute.
Wedgie was great again.
Did you see that save he made where he dove to his right and got it with the shoulder?
He is trying to solidify that starter spot for himself.
And then we have a number 3 star villain of the week is Kim, quote unquote, odd job for a violent hat throw. Luds, I watched the video again that Ryan clipped up.
We have it. That's incredible.
Oh, there it is.
I give you a lot of credit for catching that.
There's no audio here. Luds goes, whoa, that's self-defense right there. Because you're absolutely right. That was coming right for my face.
I mean, that was a great catch, though.
Thank you.
I give you credit for it.
That was because because of Robo's hat trick.
Yes.
Right? Because
look at all the hats.
Kim and her mom came over and they were sitting right there. We had told them, as soon as Owen says the word hat trick, throw him. Well, they missed on that. And then Ryan was over there trying to give him hand signals. And she looks at me and I'm like, yeah, just throw it. And then she sent the bullet. She sent a bullet in there.
Boy, that was like a Frisbee right to the face.
It was just crazy how the fist got right inside the hat.
By the way, Kim, to her credit, got onto our show group text yesterday, said, hey, this is Kim.
Yeah.
Texted the group and said, oh, and I'm so sorry. I was embarrassed. I didn't mean it. I said, no, don't worry. Even if it hit me, it was funny. As long as it didn't cause me to lose my eyesight, we're good. So, Kim, please, you're completely forgiven. There shouldn't be anything to worry about, but I appreciate the message nonetheless.
And Kim, I just want you from now on to understand that your new nickname is because of
Odd job.
Guys. I had nothing to do with that. Because you guys asked me a picture of Kim. Just to clarify, I sent a picture of Kim, and I'm seeing this stuff for the first time.
Let's see it again.
All I know is Your new nickname. Well, that might even fit her.
Do you
Odd
have
job.
the three villains again? There it is. Is that Kim? We're supposed to odd job.
Yeah, it says Kim Odd Job. So,
Kim.
I learned something today about that guy.
You didn't know who
I didn't know who that was. As I knew the Austin Powers version.
Yes,
the
from
shoe.
Goldmember.
I didn't know that it was based off of
He was
something
actually
real.
in the first Austin Powers too.
Yeah.
Who throws the shoe? But yeah,
Learn
that's from
something every day.
Goldfinger.
Yeah.
Sean Connery.
There you go.
Before we go though, Luds, let's find out about your 3 stars.
Oh,
Because I'll tell you what, the chat
has anybody nail it?
Yeah, I don't know
so
if they're right or not.
here we go.
but-
You tell me if this is right. So T.O. said, and Stars fan 91, 96 both said, is that Casey? The brick wall and Casey for number 2. They think that somebody said they think number 3 is Essa for maybe Jokerit, or does he look like Essa maybe? But I'm pretty sure they got her. Ardell goes. Actually, Ardell said Joker is Robertson, and Sticks T.O. goes, no, Mr. Roboto. That's Jason Robertson is Sticks.
Yeah, that's correct.
So what do we got for
I think
answers
I
here,
know
Luds?
him.
Okay, who do you think the third star
I think
is?
it's Rope Hints.
Why?
Oh, because of the hair.
No, it's
Oh.
got nothing to do with that.
That's what I thought.
Is it
was.
hints, though?
It's hints. You seem to think it
Can you-
is,
All right,
you-
let's
can you
let's
show
find
him,
out
Ryan?
here.
but it's not because of the hair. So there's always 2
Yeah,
levels.
show
That's a
him-
goal.
show him-
That's
show
goalie,
him hints.
goalie in the middle. So I'm assuming.
Oh, look at that.
I figured everybody would have remembered this suit from when
How
this
could you
came
forget?
out. What was this, a wedding?
That's
Was that a
Two-Face.
wedding or
That
something?
is. That's Harvey Dent.
That's what?
That's Two-Face though.
Remember from Batman?
Well, I don't know. It's just it's a suit, for God's sakes. I'm not going that far.
I thought you were going the Joker.
Okay,
thing.
so
That
now
would've been
number
next
2.
level.
Who do we think number 2 is? What do you guys think number 2 is? Don't put it up there yet.
I think it's. I'm trying to think of who.
Can you go back to the regular? Yeah,
It's a goalie, so it would have been DeSmith. No,
Well, he had the shutout
Yeah.
in Montreal. So
did he only play that one game?
Yeah, because they only had 3. Otter gave up a couple early and then really locked it down in the second one.
Oh, so it wouldn't. I don't think it. Would
I don't
be
think it
Otter.
is.
I don't think it would be.
I
Otter,
think
and I don't
if we
think
said
it's
Casey,
DeSmith.
he would have said yes, it is. But okay, so who is it, Lutz?
Well, it is a brick wall, but what else is in that brick wall? There's a couple cracks in that wall. That's Otter.
Oh, so
wow.
it was Otter.
That is
And
deep.
the only reason I
See,
did
it's always
that is
a next.
because
It's always a few
Jake has
further.
got his game together, except we're seeing little tiny cracks.
Yeah,
and so
yeah.
those cracks are slow. Otherwise, I'd have
God,
given
that
you
is
That's
very
brilliant.
a
specific.
great
Yep.
one without it for Casey.
That's
And
brilliant.
Jake had won 2 of the 3 games this week.
Yep.
Right?
He was
He
great,
did.
other than a couple.
But
like you said,
yeah,
a
and
couple
I would
little
just
plays.
say it's not even fair to say honorable mention for Casey because he's been great.
He has,
Since
yep.
game 1, he's been great.
Yep.
So
Oh my
Wow.
God. I honestly, when you showed those 3, I thought for sure I had Casey right as the second one. I wasn't sure. And then
the chat is saying the second one is the easiest. It's Casey. So
Yep.
the easiest, you guys are wrong.
was
Yeah.
the hardest.
was hard.
Only
Again,
because there's a couple
trying to
cracks in
figure
it.
out Ludzy's thought process is
I always
darn
go,
near
I always
impossible.
go 3 levels past.
All
it.
right. Up next, we got to talk Hall of Fame induction ceremony. We've got some clips for you. It should be a lot of fun here on DLLS.
I have a hard time saying, let's talk about and let's take a look at our new shirt collection because we've been talking about this for months.
Yeah, it's
So
not just new
it's
anymore.
not
Wait till
new
we're wearing
anymore. So we have, again, we have the green and black one.
That's gonna pop
Ki-
up.
What I
then
think
we're
we
just
ought to
gonna
do
wear
is maybe have a couple different colors. Maybe we got to spread in a white one. Maybe
Change
give you a
the color
white
of
one.
the
We
graphic,
never have
Ryan.
any white shirts, but let's pull.
Yeah,
can, we,
you're right.
can we pull up the Finnish Mafia since we had hints up there and sorry, Mikko, you didn't make the list, but you could be on the damn list. Owen said it. Sam said it. He could be on that list every time.
Every week.
Every week. And no slight to him. We just want to try to get some other people in here, Bo. So anyway, the Finnish Mafia, that's probably my favorite, I guess, if I had to pick.
You're wearing the captain one.
I have the captain shirt on.
I got the
because
Otter
we know
on.
eventually at some point the captain's going to be back. Hopefully sooner than later. So
Is that why
both
you
have
wore
him
it today? Because with Sam, I don't know if he
Sam
thinks that.
didn't know.
That's why I wore it.
Did you think maybe he's playing tomorrow, and so I'm going to wear it as a possibility? Because
Well, that would be like if I had inside for information.
no, but
so
I'm
I
not
wouldn't do that.
suggesting that. I'm
guess.
just saying.
No,
but-
it's because it's the only time I haven't worn. I've never worn this
Yeah,
shirt.
He hasn't worn that.
but
Hanging
if
in
he
there.
plays tomorrow, you guys are going to be clairvoyant.
Yeah.
Trendsetters.
Well, and there it is. There's the Jamie Benn.
There it is.
There's a captain
Well,
shirt
maybe
who
you
does not wear a visor,
Maybe
by
you
the way.
should buy that so that you can
When
help
this shirt
bring
was
the
made,
captain
did
back.
somebody think he actually wore a visor?
No, I was told that they didn't want to write the captain across
Over
his
his face.
face.
Yeah, it gives a better canvas.
Why wouldn't you
So
just
would he-
put the letter C on it somewhere?
You could put a C or something, but they wanted to get the captain in there like
Okay.
a superhero almost
All
looking.
right, well, cool.
Sam, do you have 30 seconds for the Supporters Club?
Yeah,
we
I
talked
do.
about it for a little while.
Supporters Club's fun. You know, we saw the other night, I forget what game, Montreal maybe, where the chat was going crazy.
70.
Tons of people in there.
70 people or 70 Supporters Club memberships for a month were purchased.
Amazing. We
T.O.
we
was
had
50
T.O.
of them.
throwing 50 out of people, but it gives you guys an inside route to get your chats read for us on the show, but also for other fans that are in the chat, because it starts to roll real fast and you don't see it. You get exclusive emojis, badges, YouTube Supporters Club. You also get some behind the scenes videos, which are always hysterical. So join today.
All right, let's talk about last night. Obviously, Luds was there. Sam and I weren't. I'm not going to give any excuses.
I'm Sam. That's your
Is that my kids had a hockey game up in Frisco, actually at the rink. Instead.
No way.
Yep, and they beat the McKinney JV team 6-4.
Big
Both
win.
my kids had a goal last night, so always a fun time.
Big win.
And shout out to one of the Frisco hockey parents whose kid is on our team because he brought a cooler of Yinglings, Luds.
Oh.
And I'm sitting in the stands, and he looks at me and goes, "Want one?" And I go, "Heck yeah!" And so we're
Why
watching.
do I get in trouble when I mention my favorite beer on this show, but nobody else does?
Okay, it was a
I
frosty
don't think
beverage.
we have a beer
All right.
sponsor, so I think you're good.
I'm sure that Luds had plenty of those of some brand last night. Started at apparently 4:30. He also did a Spit and Chicklets appearance yesterday, which
Can't
came
wait to
out
listen.
today. And do you have that photo real quick, Ryan?
Oh,
So
really?
this is my
There it
takeaway. I had
is.
two things as I saw this.
Oh,
Now, Luds, I haven't
no.
finished it yet. I watched about the first 10 minutes of it, and then I had to get to the Hall of Fame.
Your hair is
features.
looking particularly silver.
I thought two things. One is,
I dyed it.
did you get up and go, crap, I need to wear a shirt, and just threw that on as fast as you could? It's like when someone throws on a coat over, like, oh no, I got to have something. I can't wear my bathrobe. And then the second thing is, why have we never seen this backdrop? Because we've done, and we're going to do some remotes. Like, we have seen Luds with a flaming tower.
Coming from our StreamYard,
you know why
our
you-
StreamYard
Here comes the
producer.
producer.
Where does this fit?
Let me tell you why I never get to go in there.
Because that is
Because
that is
Odd Job
professional.
never lets me in that room. That's Odd Job's office.
Okay, fine.
But it's a nice, like, that is the kind of thing that a pro would have when they're doing remote broadcasts.
I've seen most people do that
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah, it
It looks
I just
sharp.
didn't know if
We
the
got-
light was good.
We had Luds in his hot tub. I was in the bathroom.
Sam was
like,
in,
what the hell's
you were
going
like
on?
kidnapped.
Yep.
Hey, just emptied. Hey, just emptied the hot tub this morning.
Oh,
Got new
yeah.
water in it. There's
Oh,
chlorine in it.
it's for that cold
Oh
weather.
yeah.
I'll come by
Yeah.
later.
Yeah.
All right.
Odd job, and I might be in the hot tub tonight
Well, let's talk about
with a couple of jobs.
who do you want to hear from first? We have clips from both Joe Nieuwendyk and Ralph Strangis. Both said very heartfelt things, although there was some funny stuff too.
I think you should go with Ralphie.
Okay.
In the order that they went. They
okay,
went Ralph
that's right.
and
Ralph
then-
went
and
first.
then
Okay,
Joe.
so Ralph had a lot of zingers in this one. A lot of
Ralph
funny
went
things.
on for a lot of time.
Ralph is a
Actually,
zinger.
you know what?
They have 6 to 8 minutes. He went on 4 of those.
Do you know that Newey's speech was pretty close in length at the end?
Not
Yeah?
really.
Yeah.
It's
Not
a new
really.
theme. Wasn't Lights? Was it Lights? That was
Yeah, he
super
went
long?
a long time. But here's okay. So there were a lot of jokes from both. I didn't want to inundate you with too many of them. But here's one from, speaking of the captain, a little shout out from Ralph to Jamie Benn. Number 3.
Chubbs, you were there. Jamie Benn. Both of you'll be up here one day, both of you. Where's Chubbs? Huh? He's out there someplace. Jamie Benn, I love you too, buddy. You will be up here someday. You are the heartbeat of this team now, and I've known you a very long time, and I love you. But you take another dumb penalty in a playoff game, I swear to God. I swear to God. I can say it to him.
That's my favorite part. I can say it to him.
Ralphie said whatever he wanted to last night. It
Not
was
many
very,
people would
very
have the
entertaining.
stones to call out Jamie Benn, even if there are some playoff penalties that you go, I shouldn't do that.
It's really something. I can't speak for other broadcasters, color guys and play-by-play guys, but these guys have, and I will speak about Razor and Ralphie. They have such an incredible relationship with the players. It's amazing, and I know you need that.
Yes.
You need that for guys to talk to you and things like that. And when I, was sitting in because of the other circumstances that were going on at the time, I never went in the room. I can't do it. I can't talk to the players. I can't go in the room because I'm still, that's their room. I know the guys and I would talk to them, but I won't go in there after games because I just think back to like, we didn't really want them guys in here.
Yeah,
we
of course.
wanted it to be our room. I mean, when I first started in Montreal, you'd walk back into your room after a game. There was a trough in there with Molson's. I'm not saying Molson because I want Molson beer like Yingling. I'm just saying that. So, and it was.
I mean, I'll take a shiner too. It's either way.
Yeah. Well, you may get one someday.
Fingers crossed.
Not that kind of shiner.
Oh, I see.
No, but I'm just saying that I always had a hard time with that.
Yes.
You know what I mean? But these guys have such a great. That's why Ralphie can do that. I mean, the players love Ralph and vice versa.
Well, and it doesn't just go to the players; it goes to the people that are around him as well. And Luds and I were talking before the show of what would be. There's a lot of heartfelt moments in Ralph's speech. What would be the one that really exemplifies who he is? And we sort of zeroed in on this one.
But over my career, you see, to my great pride, I never cared what happened to me. I always cared deeply about what happened to you. I cared about finding young people like me, or any young person, and doing what I could to help them. I'm passionate about you getting the best out of you. I didn't have professional mentors in this business when I was young and an outsider and breaking in. I didn't know anybody. That wasn't going to happen when I got there. My peers, send the elevator back down, please. Find a young person and give them a few minutes or more. My legacy here then isn't just broadcasting, although I'm very proud of the moments that I've had. I always say I can live with any result where I'm being me and true to myself, and I always have. Yes, it's true. I found and brought in Selena Ray. I hired Jason Walsh out of the gift shop at Valley Ranch to be my stats guy. He now runs Victory Sports. I pushed hard to help Cody Eastwood, Jim Green, and John Sponsler into the fold here. I lobbied to get Jeff Kay as our PA announcer. I took a call from Josh Bogorod up in Alaska one summer, and I talked to him about coming to Dallas as our radio host. And now look at him. And many more. I'm so proud of these things. To all of you still here, and especially the names I just said, pay it forward. Keep paying it forward. How it feels to change a life.
That sums him up. Just the emotion of what he feels about this organization and the people that he's worked with in his entire career.
I mean, you just listen to some of the names. I mean, that's part of the fabric of this entire thing.
Yeah.
A lot of people.
And I want to say,
and I know Razor's done it too. And I'm not
of course.
trying to lean to just Ralph or Razor. They both have had such important impacts.
Razor had his day a couple weeks ago.
Yeah. Well, he's going to have another one tomorrow night because they're honoring him at the Islanders game. But for Ralph, like to have the impact of that many people and to help young people along, I'll never forget. And then Sam, you go. When my first day on the job in Dallas, when I got hired from the Texas Stars to here, and I met Ralph, he said, "You do it your way." He said, "If you do it your way and they fire you, you can say, well, I did it the way I thought it should be done." He said, "If you do it the way you think they want it and they fire you, you go, well, that's not really how I want to do it anyway." And it's great advice. You be you because you can stand behind your work. And I always thought that was great advice.
I was going through Minnesota one day, and some reason I called Ralphie, or Ralphie called me, whatever, and he goes, "Hey, got to step in. We're going for lunch." And I said, "Oh, okay." I did that. And anyway, he told me I'm taking my favorite place. I don't know what part of Minnie it was in, but it was in his community. So I had to go there because I had to have matzo ball soup. And it was like, I mean, it was like the size of a bowling ball. It was awesome. But go ahead, Sam.
No, I was just going to say all the stuff you guys saying about Ralph, you see it in those people that he just mentioned as well. When I first got here, Josh was that for me. Josh Bogard took me to coffees and lunch, and when I was first here, I was having a hard time finding actual jobs. I was doing a lot of stuff I was doing for free, Substacks, all that kind of stuff.
Have you had any luck?
I sit here sometimes. But Josh took me, and there were really tough days where our schedule was crazy, and I was not making money, so I was having to do other work, and I was just getting to games. And Josh would pull me aside, and those 5-minute conversations changed everything for me. So just pointing that forward, that those guys are carrying it on what Ralph started, and that's just really cool to see within the organization.
And the other two that should be mentioned, I know you're not going to have clips of them, are Jamie Langenbrunner, who introduced Newey, and then Dan Stuckel, who's been with this organization from day one, who Stooks couldn't even get into the first sentence of the whole show because of Ralph, because of how emotional, how tight those two are.
How about when what Stooks got really choked up talking about Ralphie helping him come back when he got fired from Calgary?
Yeah.
So it was a big deal. we can't do Joe Nieuwendyk justice in about 30 seconds. So let's carry this over. We'll continue that, and then we'll look ahead to next week because there's some big ones. But we're going to talk about Joe Nieuwendyk next here on DLLS.
First, we're going to talk about some cool things like the DLLS Dallas Stars takeover, which is sold out. I know. Why are we telling you guys this? Well, one, to brag. I mean, it's a humble brag. We sold it out. Two, because if you become a diehard, you're going to get that information first when we release these type of events, and you're going to get 20% off of these type of events. So you make sure you get your tickets and you get them at a discount. But the takeover is going to be awesome. I can't believe we're getting to the point where we're going to start saying like in a couple weeks and then next week. And soon enough, we're going to be actually doing that thing because it feels like we've been talking about that for months. But the takeover is going to be super cool. We will be hanging out with a bunch of diehards. I think that's when we go over to Hooters for some food.
It is.
We go over to the AAC. We're going to sit in the crowd. We're going to get rowdy. Luds is going to get swarmed. It's all going to be a good time.
Do you know we're 3 weeks away?
3 weeks away?
Yep.
There you go. You can also go alldls.com/newsletter to get all of the most up-to-date things from DLS, from all the different sports, all the different writers, podcasts, guests, emergency podcasts, which seem to be a weekly thing here at DLS.
Always at the best,
news
most
around
convenient times for our personal lives.
Alldls.com/newsletter. Sign up today for free.
You know, guys, GM Ben gave me a call today because he loves to just call and cause trouble and said, whatever you do, don't hype the Die Hard program because I don't want anyone to know about it. Yeah, he really didn't say that.
I was like,
let's not
shoot,
even
I
listening
messed
to
it
me. No, as much as a troll as our boss is, that's not one thing he said because the Die Hard program is that great. There's so many things it offers, whether it's the free t-shirt for your first year. If go on our website, alldls.com, use the QR code, sign up. Sometimes they even spring on sales to the normal annual rate that we don't even know about. It just pops up on the website and you go there and you're like, hey, it's discounted. We're not even advertising anything like that. You got access to all the writing that Sam just did a huge notebook for today encompassing a couple of weeks. Mm-hmm. And of course you have the discounts on merch. You get a free shirt with the first year of your annual subscription and all sorts of other things. It is a great, great way to get connected. And if you become a diehard, you get access to the Discord lounge. There's a community growing of DLLS Stars fans in our Stars channel. Inside that, they have Cowboys, Mavs, Rangers, of course. But I'm telling you, this diehard thing is growing, and it's another way to enjoy Stars hockey while also connecting through DLLS, and we appreciate that. All right, let's talk about Joe Nieuwendyk. Luds, you seem to be a common theme in Joe Nieuwendyk's speech as we start with the first clip.
It was an enjoyable experience. We all lived out in Valley Ranch, and we were a tight team. I think on any occasion, 2 or 3 days a week, there'd be 8, 9, 10 of us that would be having lunch together at we thought was the only establishment out there, the Cowboys Sports Bar and Grill on MacArthur Boulevard. Just hanging out, enjoying life as teammates, playing pool. Carbonneau and Ludwig sitting at the bar, drinking 4 or 5 beers each, watching Days of Our Lives and not saying one word to each other.
Absolutely love that.
Okay, so he got that wrong.
Not saying a word to each other.
That part he got right. But the show was wrong. So Carbo was Days.
All my children.
I was All My Children,
Uh-huh.
which we ultimately had to split up. So because Chris Shelley and I were All My Children.
Mm-hmm.
Because what happened, we remember the little Sony Watchmans or Walkman,
The little
thing,
tiny
TVs?
things? Yeah.
Carbo got one of them, so we'd have to alternate when we were on the road. One of us would have to watch our soap on that thing, and the other one have to watch it on the other thing.
That's amazing.
Oh, well, as you've heard Luds talk about this on the show before, but like, again, the only other clip we're going to show, Craig ends up in it again in the speech.
I was 22 years old when I won my first cup. I think Tyler Sagan could probably relate to this story. It's a moment I'll never forget. Around the storied Montreal Forum, it was a night carrying around the cup that I'll never forget. Well, Luddy, you were there. You remember that night. Well, I got to give it to you. You broke my wrist that game. with his classic two-hander.
Okay, so did you shout something because
Yes,
there was
he
a
did.
pause?
I was told
I
you
couldn't
shouted something.
I couldn't hear
I didn't
it.
hear it. So did you bleep it out?
No. It didn't.
pick it up.
It didn't
didn't
pick
pick up on the
or they
mics.
cut it.
Oh, really?
they
They
could.
had to cut it.
So what did you say?
I was
that
told to
is
ask
not-
you about this. So
not for air.
censored.
Does Ben want to know?
No, censored for the show. What did you say?
Oh, I thought you were going to censor it. Can I
No,
say
no.
it?
You cannot. I don't think you can say what it actually is, but
We're
you can.
live, sir.
Does that mean I can
You could-
say it?
how
I
about-
get
what
one.
if you-
I get one a show.
What
I
if
don't
you
think
read it-
that's the rule
According to
anymore.
who?
What if you write it down?
and then show
No,
it to everybody?
No, you don't get one, but you can tell
Who
us.
just said
That was
That's
Cat.
Cat. Said, no, you don't.
Cat made the rule. I
Yeah.
told him I told him to puck off. That's
There
what
it
happened.
is. Well done. Way to
I told him
censor
to puck
yourself.
off. So,
So did it? You couldn't hear because obviously the mic was on Joe. When he said, "Well, Luds, you were there," I immediately left because you've talked about losing to that one and the wrist thing on our show before.
okay,
Did everybody get it? Because there was this sly look on Newey's face.
I don't know if they did.
I don't think there was enough laughter for
See,
how funny that was.
What thinking back, and immediately it happened. What I should have yelled, you forgot about '86, because Joe Newey was a rookie that year, and that's when apparently I broke it in that one. I thought I broke it earlier, but I didn't even know about breaking it until a couple months ago. But
At least you won a Stanley Cup when
I
you
had
did
said
it to
this
him.
before. I said, with Joe and I was with a team that beat him one time. Then I was on the other side of it when we were in Montreal, got beat by Newey and his team, and then we won one together here. So, but he was just a young kid at that time, still lighting it up when he first came, ever since he got in the league. And that's why I was surprised he didn't. I don't think he thought of it, but it was about the Montreal Forum. And so, these guys, everybody's really good at getting little jobs. But Joe,
He's a master at this.
Joe,
slide.
let me tell you. So this is the way I thought about it this morning. So when Ralphie does his speech, and if you have an opportunity, you really need to go listen to it. It is, I thought it was the best one I've ever heard. Not that Joe's wasn't or anybody else. It was, full of passion and everything he feels for this town and this organization. But with Newey's, you could tell he was more in control because he did his speech, of what it was a couple years ago or whatever it may be, on the biggest stage
At the Hockey Hall
on
of
the
Fame.
planet.
Yeah.
So he did his big speech there. So this one here for Joe, he did talk about the organization. Well, you heard it. He talked a lot about this organization and everything. There is no other organization that has something like this, a Hall of Fame, and all this other kind of stuff, and about how
What
they do
about,
everything first
he
class.
mentioned this to you as well during the thing, and it's actually one of the serious things because he was just firing grenades at you most of the
Yeah, I was
time.
gonna say I wasn't listening to
But
everything.
he
just so
did
you know.
say one thing about, well, Luds, you might appreciate this as well. When he got traded to Dallas, he said you guys weren't a great team, and it was 95 and sort of finding themselves as a team.
Yeah.
Gainey had to go up into the front office and turn things around. And you had played in Montreal, so you knew what a winning organization was. He had played in Calgary and won a cup. You had won a cup. So you come here, and it wasn't what became at the end of the 90s.
Well, and it's the same thing I've said before, how this team got to where this team was. It was because of what Bo did. And Bob was at the event last night, obviously, also. And but what Bob did is he basically had said something about some of the players that came from Minnesota to there. And I said to you guys before, he mentioned one guy's name, and he said he's just a 500 player. And I'm like, I wasn't really sure what that meant. But what he was trying to say about some players is like 500 being an average. So win one, lose one, win one, lose one, and you're okay with that. He goes, this is going to change.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden, and it was mostly guys from Montreal that were coming in because he played with a lot of Bob and I and Carbo and Brian Scrudlin and McPhee and all these guys. We played together and won a Stanley Cup together. But again, I'll use the analogy about the Dallas Cowboys. When you're a Dallas Cowboy here, you are expected to win a Super Bowl every year.
Yep.
That's the way it is in Montreal. So he wanted those kind of personalities in the room that accept nothing less. And then, and again, one of the key ones besides Carbo and the guys I mentioned was Mike Keane. And Keener was that third line guy that just, and talk about being able to loosen up a room and being able to fight and all the different things that Keener does. Then obviously the big one was Brett Hull when he comes in here. But
how about that conversation that Newey said on that? He said we didn't have the swagger at that point he even talked about winning the President's Trophy in 97, 98, but we didn't have that swagger like Detroit had with Yzerman and Fedorov, or like Colorado.
It's not the swagger as much. It's you don't get phased by
because he said
things.
when they brought in Brett Hull, and you've talked about this before, he said we got that swagger and we knew we were good then.
Well, yeah, but see, that was a project.
Yes,
right. I mean, because we were so structured, and again, coaching staff wanted you to be structured. You have a unit, and it's military like, so to speak. But they understand that you have to have fun, and you know that you guys have done this, and you've learned there are times to have fun, times to have a lot of fun, and times to dial the fun back a little bit. And then we bring in the king of fun, and when Hully got here, Hully was the biggest dog out there, right, to be able to score goals, and so his personality and him. Like, and he was not afraid to tell Hitch to go fly a kite, and he, all this other kind of stuff. And but Hully's personality, and you try to reel everybody in, and then there's some guys you just let those guys be those guys.
I'm so glad you brought it up, because that I've heard the Hitch kicked Mo and Hully's out of practice story from everybody, but Nieuwendyk brought this up, and the best part was, he goes, they were probably in the showers before Hitch's tirade was done because they're trying to get to a tea time. But there's Yeri sitting on the bench looking like someone just shot his dog.
Guilty that he couldn't
sitting at the bench, wanted it, and he goes, and then he went home to his wife and apologized and went to church for 2 hours. Like, what a great set of jabs at Yeri Lehtinen by Joe Nieuwendyk.
But
it was sincere, wasn't it?
There's a purpose to what Hitch did all the time, and that purpose was for us to rally around those guys and then just bring us a little bit closer together, because he knew that at the end of the day, it was about the guys in that room, not the guys right through the other door, the coaches meeting. I mean, we all were kind of family, but I mean, and that those kind of things, if you do them at the proper time and you do it the right way, and usually, and I think Gully said something like this the other day, usually when this is happening is when you're on a winning streak.
Yeah,
it's easy to get guys going when you're losing.
Gully said it's the most important time to coach is when you're winning, because then they're more receptive to your input.
Yeah, and you have to be harder on them at times, because what'll happen is you after you win 4, 5, 6 in a row, you think you just go out there and you're going to win the hockey game.
Yep.
Hey, but it's not. It doesn't work like that, because it doesn't work like that in game 83.
That's right.
And so you're getting conditioned and programmed for the playoffs through the first 82 games.
Sam, I'm not trying to throw this bypass over you, but he was at the event. Neither we were. Good. Glenn Gulson said yesterday in the practice media, which I watched video of because I wasn't there, that he owes so much to Joe Nieuwendyk, because Newy was the one who hired him for the NHL. And he said, my family has been fed for 15 years because of Joe Nieuwendyk. He goes, I think about it constantly. Newy mentioned Gully last night and said, I think he's he goes, one of the smart. It's a great line. Joe Nieuwendyk is showing his Cornell education here, because he goes, I think Glenn Gullison is one of the smartest guys in hockey. I mean, he hitched his wagon to Connor McDavid for the last 7 years. What a way to raise your profile. Worked out pretty well. But just from an overarching, for you, you've been part of this for, believe it's 3 years they've done this now, the Hall of Fame, 3 or 4. And you've been to all the ceremonies. You get all these alums.
I can't believe I keep getting invited back.
You haven't ruined it yet. But to get the old alums back, the current team was there, as many of them. One of our chats said that they saw a picture that Mikko's fiance posted, and Lyubushkin wasn't in that photo, so maybe he was or wasn't there. But ultimately, what does this do for the familial aspect of the organization?
Well, I think for those guys that that are able to listen to Joe say what he said, because he was the latter part of that, he was speaking to the team that was there, and he understands about. The last thing you guys want to do is come up here and listen to an old guy like me and talk about this and Ralph and all that other kind of stuff. But we're here because of what we accomplished. Yep. And I think those guys were probably glued to that part of it, because that's what they want.
Well, how about Newy's line to them? Guys, it's been 26 years. It's about time.
It's about time.
Go win one.
Yeah, well, it's easier said than done.
Of course.
As we know. But again, it's for me, it's hard. I was sitting at the table, and with Bobby Basson, and Jamie was there, and Vern Fiddler. And anyway. Great line on Basson by chasing Marchment for 2 years. Yeah, but trying to fight him. To look at that team, you're looking over there, and it's so true. When we first got here, people were like, you get out and you like, I know you, I just don't recognize you guys with the helmets on and things like that. It's the same kind of thing with these guys, but they look so damn young. I mean, they really look young. Yep. I mean, it's unbelievable how good they are. We see them differently. Even now, when I watch them play, it's totally different than when I see him in person. I'm like, no way that little shit can do that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So anyway, go ahead, Sam. Say
Hey,
something.
Ryan, would you pop up next week's schedule graphic for me? Sam, give us 45 seconds or less on the 3 games coming up this week, what you're looking for before we sign off today.
Yeah. Well, tomorrow's a big one. Is 14 going to be in the lineup, right? And the other question is, what is this lineup going to look like? If Benn's back, that's obviously a big one. If he's not, even if he's not, we're going to see probably some changes. We know Thomas Harley's out. Lyubushkin may not be playing. Going to be interesting to see that. And then the Western Canadian road trip. It's always a weird one.
And
right?
who's on that trip? Who gets called up? They might need a couple guys.
No clue. And there's a few options, but the salary cap comes into it. Now Duchene opens that up. But I will say the Northwest and the Western Canada, always just odd games, high scoring, weird goalie duels. So looking forward to those.
Gully
games.
goes back to Edmonton next week. That'll be
great.
wild. All that stuff. All right.
What's going to be
Ride
interesting
along.
is to see number 4 tomorrow night and number 48 tomorrow night.
Schaefer.
I'm going to tell you,
Oh.
keep an eye on number 48. And it's just, you just wonder, is Miro going to say,
Yep.
no, kid, not in my building?
We're going to talk about that on our pregame show tomorrow night, which is a 6:15 show. 7:00 game, Stars and Islanders. For Craig Ludwig, Sam Nestler, Ryan Vaughters, I'm Owen Newkirk. Thanks to the guys in the chat, Tio and Ardell, sending out more Supporters Club memberships. You guys are
Love it.
extremely generous. We'll see you tomorrow. Great show today here on DLLS.
Right now, I have to stop saying.
We all silly like the mayor.